Welcome to the fifth episode of Gupshup with Garima, where we have a heart-to-heart chat with some very interesting people so that they can tickle us but also inspire us. And today, once again, I have a truly interesting guest with me, Sathish.
Hi Garima, how are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sathish. And the viewers are watching it at 9 p.m. So good evening to all of them. And
Good evening.
so this is my promise once again that I am going to try to show you the person behind all of the labels. And with Sathish, he truly wears a whole lot of hats. So Sathish, as usual, can you give us a one-line introduction about yourself?
Yeah, today with the long hair, I need a hat more than anything. yeah. So, hi Garima, thanks for having me. Just to introduce myself, my name is Sathish with a really long second name, Trivenkataswamy, that has 17 letters. I counted all the time. So, and I currently work with Cognizant Technology Solutions in a fairly straightforward IT professional job. Apart from that, my interests are varied. I'm a very voracious reader of eclectic topics. Then recently wrote a book as well called Life in the Sunshine. Then in that journey, I started writing some short stories which got published as well. And apart from all this, I'm a big sport fanatic. Cricket is my lifeblood, I would say. A lot of love has gone into that for the past 40 years of existence. And that I have now spent most of the time watching cricket and writing about it in various websites. Currently, I'm writing in the roar.com, which is an Australian website. My recent article was on MS Dhoni's retirement. So go catch it.
That is damn cool. So, as you would have noticed, Sathish has a great sense of humor as well as humility about him. But, he actually has merchandise of his name also. And his book has been a #1 bestseller on Amazon, but we'll talk about it in just a minute. Satish, all the things that you list as just your hobbies are actually your passions that you are devoting so much time to. Just tell me your time management funda yaar. How can you have a full-time job, have a best-selling novel on Amazon, which is no mean feat at all, and also be a cricket commentator and everything else?
Yeah, I think the time management is an important aspect, like you said. That involves getting up very early so that you give yourself a lot of time. So my alarm is 5:55. During COVID times, before that it used to be 5:15. So I used to get up, start my day very early, and I'm very sharp with my sleeping habits as well. Like 10:30 around, I'm pretty much into. Between that time, I don't sleep. I don't do anything else. So pretty much it's work, and then you can find time for other things in terms of following cricket or taking space to write. One of the things you would notice the way I speak, I do everything fast, right? So it is something something that is a gift and also a bad thing, because when I speak over phone, many people ask me to slow down. Hey, slow down. But then that helps me when I write. Right, I write very fast. It doesn't take me a lot of time to convert what my thoughts are into paper. And the fact that we've had good habits from a young age, my writing quality doesn't take a lot of time to edit. Right? It's fast, so I can do self-edit and a little bit of Grammarly here and there, and then you have something to publish. So that's been quite helpful. I think, like you see, it's a habit, right? Even time management is a habit. Everything else is a habit, which is why you are not a finished product until you are like 40, 45 years, right? You build so many things over a period of time, and then you've gained some edge on a few things, which really helps you in doing certain things faster and also give you some time extra in the things that you're weak, right? So that's pretty much how you manage time, I think.
Great. So what I'm hearing from Sathish is that wake up early if you're a morning person. Also, this is not something that you can do overnight. So if you are a younger audience, 20 below, then please spend time building some good habits around being efficient, doing a good quality job, so that the number of times the editing needs to be done is fewer. And if you're 40, well, too bad. Now it's nothing you can do.
You can still do. You can still do.
Okay, then Sathish, you're going to love the part which my audience totally loves, which is the rapid fire round, because you're like fast, right? So that's all you have to be. You don't have to be accurate, just fast.
Yeah. Yes, ready. Ready, fast. Boom.
Monsoons or spring?
Monsoons.
Mountains or beaches?
Beach.
Of course, Chennai.
Yeah.
Okay, in films, Tamil or Hindi?
Tamil.
That took a second though, right? कौन सी शोले याद आ गई थी?
It may, because I have so many of my friends are now Hindi, so I have to. Should I think about the past or the current?
Then you haven't seen the most controversial question yet. Rajnikant or Kamal Hassan?
Kamal Hassan.
Oh, how could you? Can I even publish this in Tamil Nadu now?
Absolutely. There is already my generation divided between Kamal and Rajni anyway.
So, J.K. Rowling or P.G. Wodehouse?
P.G. Wodehouse.
I knew that, but for the sake of confirmation.
For the younger audience, right?
Name something yucky.
Name something yucky. My hair. Only because of COVID, I'm still keeping it. I'm so scared to go to a barber now.
Thank you so much, Sathish, for this fantastic roller coaster of a rapid fire round with you. It was great fun for me. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Yeah, same here, Garima. Thanks.
So, for the benefit of the viewers, the way I see Sathish is that he's a rather unusual man who's slocking it out in the corporate world while he's dreaming of cricket. And as he's making presentations, he's also able to write these best-selling fictional novels. And I think his inspiration comes from the fact that he's a voracious reader, but unusual that he literally pens down his manuscript into a notebook. And having known him for decades, I can say with great confidence that behind this humor and the humility is a soul that is truly kind and sensitive, and you're about to see some more of it. So back to you, Sathish. Tell me your inspiration for Life in the Sunshine, your first novel.
Yeah. So, see, the inspiration has always been because Life in the Sunshine is all about cricket, right? So, it's about the life that we lived, right? So, if I look back, if there's a constant companion apart from my parents and siblings and friends, it's been cricket. So, it's pretty much like the way the book starts. Very young age, I got introduced to the game. And then there were really crazy fans of cricket along with me, my brother and my friends. So who kept that fire of cricket burning, right? So it was pretty much my life companion along with anybody who joined me along the way. So this has been a constant companion. And also in terms of creativity, right? So I always think, right, when you look around our lives, if you can name the ones that make your day pleasant, it's always some creative work, right? So it's either music or a cricket match where somebody scored some beautiful runs, or somebody bowled brilliantly, or somebody said something really witty, right? We are very, very creative, that kind of pepped you up saying, hey, this is funny and it's humorous and original. So I always think that creative people make our lives worth living, right? By the joy and the happiness that they spread. There can never be anything negative. Even in the sad songs of Kishore Kumar, you can still find yourself in a sad song as well, right? So there is so much to learn and think about. So I always thought I should also make a contribution to that. So my interest and my desire probably came together, and it was a very whimsical decision to go ahead and write it. Right? I really don't know why I thought I should write it. Right? So just
how can you write a 50,000 word book on a whim, Sathish?
Yeah. Seriously, I really don't know. See, why I still think, right, it was one of the times when I was reading some of the Sherlock Holmes books, right? So I go through this phase of certain set of authors, right? Once it was P.G. Wodehouse, I was reading left, right, and center, everything that P.G. Wodehouse had written, and there was this Sherlock Holmes phase where I was reading Sherlock Holmes all the time. So and then there is always Watson along with it, right? So Watson writes about Sherlock Holmes. That's how all the books are, right? All the stories are. So then I thought, like, okay, maybe I don't have to be Sherlock Holmes. I can be a Watson, right? So then I thought, okay, if I have to be a Watson, who should I write about, right? I can possibly at some point in time write about Rishi Agarwal, which I will do.
Who, by the way, is my husband. And
yeah. So obviously I'll do that. But then Rishi is still a work in progress. So I thought, okay, what should I write? Then I thought maybe cricket is my Sherlock Holmes. So then I should write about cricket. Then it thought, okay. Then I thought initially I'll write a non-fiction sort of thing about cricket. Then I thought like, okay, who am I to write a non-fiction, right? So non-fiction is about usually people who are experts, some kind of subject matter experts, or somebody who has achieved something in the field. Then you write about it and somebody would read it and find value. So me being nothing in that sport, so I thought maybe then I should write about my experience as a guy on the street, how he looked at cricket, the role that cricket played, even though we didn't make anything really great about that in the sport, but it had a huge influence, right? So it has a universe of its own with characters and stories and ups and downs and comic moments and things of that sort, right? It makes this nice story. So I thought I should write about cricket, my Sherlock Holmes. So then that's where the story came through.
Yes, I can see that cricket is completely core to you, Sathish, and I am not a sports person. That's a label that I'm okay to carry around. But tell me then some of your earliest memory maybe of cricket, maybe people you played with.
Yeah, so some of my early crickets are all along the streets, right? So my cricket, I think the first time was essentially some of the games that my brother used to play. So I used to go with them, sit on this cycle stand and watch them play. And then slowly we started having our own group of friends when we were about 6-7 years old with our plastic bats and rubber balls and whatnot, right? So that's pretty much my early memories. And watching cricket was something peeping into somebody's house, right? So it was always the case because we didn't have a TV at our house. So it used to be either you go and knock somebody's home where they have a cricket, and they're also pissed off, right? Because there are always a bunch of kids who are coming and disturbing them, and they want to watch the game of their own. And as it is, Doordarshan those days used to be ration. For 3 hours per day or something would be there, and on a game day you would have a full day of telecast, right? So they would be like kind of sitting in front of the TV, and then here you have a bunch of 6 and 7 year old asking them to show, then they'll come and say it, and then start having their own fights between India will win or Australia will win and things of that kind. And the other funny thing was when we were living in Europe, our house was very close to a very prominent petrol station, gas station. So all the buses would come and stop there for filling up their tanks before they went out into the highway. And we used to watch for the video coach buses, right? So whenever we see a video coach, somebody will give us a signal. We all will run to that petrol station, and then when the bus is filled with gas, the video will be on, and we'll be peeping in, watching what is the movie or whatever is being shown on that. You had some cricket matches, old cricket tapes also seen through that angle. So,
oh my God, that is such a cute memory. I can visualize tiny children, either peering in from the window saying, "Uncle, TV idhar ghumao ya."
Yeah, absolutely. So, climbing on to the side of the bus and watching it inside, right? So it's really not a good thing. But then, those are the days.
So Life in the Sunshine has really come very far. It has, like we've said before, stayed on the Amazon #1 bestseller in cricket section, and it is a work of fiction. And for a confessed non-sport person like me, also, it has so much in it to really thoroughly enjoy. I have absolutely loved the book. 5 star from my side. And congratulations, Sathish, for hitting 1,000 books sold now, online and offline together.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. That was possibly the target to start with for a self-published book. So that's good, actually. Very happy.
Check box, done.
Yeah.
So then now let's go over to your second work that you finished writing, The Long Run.
Yeah. So again, so looking at my inspiration of how that came through, right? So I apart from watching cricket, there is other activity that I do is to follow the markets. Right? So again, possibly because it's another way of keeping scores, right? It's another scores.
That's
Yeah, my affinity to tracking scores and numbers is where the fun is. So this is another thing that I caught. I think thanks to Suresh Kumar of Inautics, right? So he was the one who introduced us very innocently when we joined, saying that because I spent so much time in a so-called illustrious institution in Calcutta, and none of the professors could even made me a little bit of interest into finance, right? So all that Suresh Kumar did was he made us play a game, right? So he said, hey, you joined a company that makes software for brokerages, so you should know how markets work, right? And he gave us a contest and they opened a mock trading account and said, okay, you have $100,000 to invest. So let's see who wins at the end of a month, right? So that's how it started, right? So I wish
gamification of the brokerage.
Yeah, exactly. So that is how the passion started. So I always remain thankful to that moment. Even after that, I think if we look at my profession, even though I was in IT, we were always building software for this industry, right? So that's how my passion for the markets also has been one of the other loves that I have, right?
So but you have an unusual hero in it. It's a blind broker. I hope I'm not giving away too much because it's not yet published.
Yeah. So one of these days, right? So it was I think early 2000s sometime. So I was watching CNBC, and CNBC they invite various guests to talk about okay, where is the market going and all that. And they invited this guy who's visually hampered, and he's working in at least then he was working in JP Morgan as a trader, right? So that was a name which stood in my conscience for a very, very long time, right? Because it's a very odd thing, and in a profession which is so fast moving, and then you have to watch the screen, hear so many things, and take decisions based on that. Somebody who's visually challenged, how is he able to succeed in that? So that character remained in my mind for a very long time, and then now that I started writing, I thought, okay, maybe now this guy has to be a character in my next book, right? So so that's when I said, okay, I have no idea about that person's previous background, nothing. So the story that I've written is a character that borrowed from that particular person, but the story is completely fictional of how this guy gets interested in markets, and then goes on to have a life, and then meets with his accident, loses his eyesight. Then how does he come back in his life to succeed whatever he lost during that phase? So it's more of and then the guy is not a straight jacket, clean character, right? So he also has his own drawbacks, because of which he had hurt people, he had hurt relationships, and then he tries to put it all together after this accident. So
yeah, I've seen it. It's got very rich character development, and especially the flow of this particular book, this manuscript. It is so interesting. It keeps the reader on your toes because it keeps flowing from the present time to two different moments in the past, but it is really interesting. And so when can the readers get their hands on it? I have seen the manuscript, but say 6 months or so?
Yeah, I hope so. My agent is, I think, a lot of the COVID disruptions has pushed many of the publications, things like that, to kind of postpone new books. As you can see, only the really top authors are able to release because they have a brand value. They're able to cash in and do the release. But now, I think, hopefully in the next 3-4 months, we would have some publishing house take up, hopefully, the project. And then sometime in 2021, we would see that in our hands. I really hope, because this is a story that I really want people to read. The earlier one was something about what was close to my mind, close to my heart. So that was there. This is something that I created on my own. It's a entirely fictional story, and I've kind of experimented with timelines, right, making it a little bit interesting rather than a straight flowing story. So I'm really eager to have people read it and kind of let me know how they found it. really excited.
Absolutely. So you have to wait for your own Chetan Bhagat moment when you just take off. But I've always been telling Satish that his books would make into fantastic movies as well. The stories are just really fun. There's the right element of romance and twist and everything. But moving on, I know that you're a very opinionated man. And I want your opinion about the Tamil cinema.
Tamil cinema.
Yes.
So, see, Tamil cinema. See, generally when you are at a certain age, like in your 40s, you start to kind of look back at your life as the golden period that you've left behind, and whatever is happening today is something as a pale shadow of what it was, right? And it's not.
Satish, I don't understand why people look at me and start talking about being in the 40s and all. I have no clue. Another guest did this to me. Yeah, come on. What's wrong with you?
No. Yeah. So, but then it is actually, in my opinion, in various aspects of life, we are in a much better age in terms of technology and things that we could do. Right? We are so much better. We don't want to go back 20 years. But Tamil cinema, according to me, has regressed. Right? The reason could be now Bollywood is really strong. All the money is in Bollywood, and everybody wants to prove themselves in Bollywood. Right? Probably that is one reason why many of the actors and actresses switch over there. But the Tamil industry, I really think, got into a phase where rowdyism and some of those kinds of things started getting way more screen space, I would say, in the 2000s. And from then on, it's been really one-directional flow. There are a few who try to make a difference. Vijay Sethupathi and some of these guys who make really quality movies, which anybody can watch. But then I really think people like Maniratnam, Shankar, K. Balachandar, and people of that caliber are no longer seen making solid movies in Tamil. And I basically think really good movies are being made in Bollywood today. It could be controversial the way I say, but along with the various masala commercial movies, there are really fantastic movies that are being made in Bollywood.
Any recommendation? Any recent thing that we could watch maybe online?
Not the recent ones. The recent ones have been pretty poor. I'm not following Amazon and all that. So some of the earlier ones like Piku, right? And then some of the Imran Khan, what is his name? Irfan Khan movies. Many of them are really good, right? And then there's one which I watched like 6-7 years back. Kapoor and Sons, I think.
Yes.
That was fabulous. So things of that sort, which are the movies which are not really like a great brainchild or making movies like Avatar or something like that. But these are very simple stories and made brilliantly. Right? There are lots of good Hindi movies that people on the side are making. Right? I didn't watch Tappad and some of these other movies that came, but there is always a group of directors who are making really good solid movies, which you can watch along with the big commercial movies of Salman and the stereotype movies. Then Amir Khan comes up with gems. But I didn't watch the last one. I heard it was pretty bad, like Hindustan Thugs or something like that. Yeah, before that, all his movies were brilliant.
I know that you are a big SPB fan, so my condolences on his passing.
Thank you. Yeah, so I can't begin to say how many of his songs have kind of impacted. The recent one was a very old song from Maniratnam's debut movie called Pallavi Anupallavi. So I've been singing that song for quite a long time.
Sing for us, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, but it's a Kannada song, so I'll sing anyway. Yeah.
It's all Greek to me.
Yeah. Naguva Nayana Madhura Mona Midaya Hridaya Irematike. Something. Yeah,
beautiful though. You're singing it in a very lovely voice as well. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. So you call yourself a student of sports. What's that about?
Yeah. So like I said, right, I don't. There was a time sports was you play for the physical aspect of it, right? So you go spend your energy, play the game, win and things of that sort. I think after a certain age, once you start playing,
don't say 40 again.
No, not 40. We begin to college, and then after you start work, I still play. We by whatever chance we got in I0X, we used to go and play. Me, Rishi, and all, we used to go spend some time on the sporting field. But then it started having another aspect where it's no longer a physical aspect of it. There's a lot of mental help that it provides. So I started looking at that aspect of sport. What has it contributed to me? Even
you're talking about the sportsman spirit, the ability to lose.
Ability to lose and win, and then you have a setback. Why do you think you have to come back? And also to know when to go out, right? So you have a long career, you've been successful, but then there is always this tendency to play that one more match, one more year, right? But then at the end, many of them kind of were a pale shadow of themselves of what they were before, right?
Are you hinting at someone in particular?
No, nobody. Yeah, I'm just saying. So as a sports person, it teaches you that there is a definite start and a definite end to your career, right? So when you know that you aren't contributing to the best of your abilities, you could be still as good as many of the people on the street or anybody who's aspiring, but then you still haven't reached. You're not able to recapture the heights that you had once. So I think that's the time you need to kind of start looking out. I think it's the same process in your life as well, right? So when you're doing a job or whatever it is, right? If you are really not, if you think you're really not sharp and the way you used to be, that is the time probably you have to look elsewhere and see where the new skills that you have built could be used, and you could be at the top of your game in the new game, I would say.
So does all of this feature in the way you bring up your sons, because your sister's son is also, you all share a household and they grow up to pretty much. So what are you doing as a dad?
Yeah, so my wife and my sister-in-law, they don't think I spend enough time with my kids. So that is a complaint that I have. So now I've started taking the job of a sports teacher, right? So now these guys have started learning chess. So I introduced them to chess, and then we do have a little bit of our own cricket game, which I'm not doing too frequently these days. I think I should really start that. These guys had started to play with a plastic ball and a little bit of tennis ball and things of that sort. So I think I have taken that part of the life of their side to introduce them to sports and things that. And then Prahlad is a voracious reader now for his level. So he looks at
8 now.
Yeah, so he's 7 and running 8. So he reads a lot. Same way, Anirudh is a Carnatic musician. His father is a trained mridangist, and he plays a lot across the city, and is a well-known name in the Carnatic circles. So he's taken an affinity to playing mridangam and in music in general. So we try to help Anirudh become better, even though not leaving the other aspects of. He's also learning chess. He also plays cricket, but then he has this natural talent and inclination towards music. So we are trying to hone him in that direction. Whereas Prahlad is a hands-on kind of guy. So he likes Lego. He likes to fit things, break things, fix it back up. The big Lego car fanatic. So
he is in a league of his own. That kid. I mean, he's just 7 himself, right? And he has such in-depth knowledge about the different machinery and parts that go. I don't even know the words for these things. Like he's been actually recommending changes to the manufacturers, some of the biggest companies, isn't it?
Yeah, crazy guy. Today my wife, she was her laptop. There was a screw which was missing, and she was handling it for a very long time, holding it and things like that. So he looked around within his Lego compilation. There was a screw of some doll. He pulled it out and fit it in, right? So that's the way he works, right? So he thinks in terms of putting things together. He's more of a maker, hands-on kind of guy. So that's where it looks like, right? So I think
I'm looking forward to what he does in this world. I'm waiting for him to turn 18. That's fantastic. Yeah. So we're coming to the end of my questions for you. Just one more, like if you have any book recommendations, because you're such an awesome reader with such a length and breadth and depth of interests. Any recommendations?
Yeah, so currently I'm reading a book called A Man Called O. A Man Called O, which is written by Frederick Backman. It's supposed to be pretty funny, so I was going through it, and I think there is a lot of Jerome K. Jerome. If you've read
yes.
In a boat and things like that, it gives that kind of vibe, right? Where every line is punctuated with some kind of a colorful description of that, right? So here in this book, he's taken this character called OVE. They live in a Swedish town, and his quirks, right? So he's a 59-year-old middle-aged guy who thinks that people aren't working hard. People are all now not doing things the right way, right? And so he's kind of a frustrated old man who finds fault with anything and everything he sees, right? It never used to be like this. What is this, you guys? So he's that kind of a kind of guy who's always cribbing about anything and everything. So
did you have a grumpy old grandfather sometime?
Yeah, not my grandfather. My grandfather, I don't. My interactions weren't that much with my grandfather, but I was very young. Way too young to remember, but many uncles. I've had many grumpy old uncles. They don't seem to have anybody who's a favorite. You think they would be scolding about, say, ADMK party. You would think that, okay, maybe he's a DMK supporter. Then after 5 minutes, they'll go against the DMK party. So, whether it is politics or not, so it's pretty much like they're against anything. So it's a grumpy old, maybe that's how you end up.
Oh my God, you totally triggered memories for me with my cousin now, she used to live with my maternal grandfather, and we would just go to visit, and we were the same age, so whenever I would visit, we would swap our dresses. And that's when I would realize that she gets really the short end of the stick from him, because then he would start yelling at me, assuming that I am my cousin.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would never see that part of him. He was so affectionate towards me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So I can wrap up, but is there something that you would like to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah. So again, what I would like to say is the difficult times that people are going through, right? So COVID and all, and we somehow seem to be insulated by the good technology and the kind of job that we have. But there is a whole platoon of people who are not able to enjoy that same kind of freedom to be able to work from home. They have to go in, face the day, risk the pandemic, and still make a livelihood. I really want to say that if there is some way you can contribute to them in ways possible, even if you're not bringing your maids home, please make sure you're paying them the salary. They are able to continue with their livelihoods from home, and they don't have to take the risk of going out and trying to find a job and kind of putting their own families into danger. I think that's something I hope people are still doing, because I know when we started in March, April, people were doing, but then now that it's been like 6-7 months, I don't know how many of the people are still continuing to pay the drivers and maids and people of that people who were helping you before the COVID thing struck, and they may be in need. So please, I would think that you continue to make your contributions as long as your job and your bank balance can afford.
Thank you so much, Sathish. I really appreciate this reminder from you. And so, my dear viewers, as I had promised, a glimpse into the real Sathish, humble, honest, humorous, and also a kind soul. See you again next Thursday with another very interesting guest. Keep watching Guruvar Gupshup with Garima, always at 9 p.m. Thank you and bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks Garima for having me. All the viewers, good luck. Bye.